So how do you get more of your inbound leads and traffic to actually book sales calls with you so that way you could close more clients? That's what we're going over in today's video. Okay, so let's actually talk about what is a VSL and why would you want to use one. VSL, real quick, for those of you who don't know, it is a video sales letter. It is anywhere from a couple minute long video all the way up to, I mean, it could be 30, 40, 50 minutes long even. Ideally, you should be aiming for like 5 to 15 minutes. I'd say most of our clients and even ourselves, we try to aim for that 5 to 10 minute range. The idea behind a VSL is that it's not some super long, fluffy presentation. A VSL should be geared for a very hot buyer, someone that's already aware of type of service that you maybe offer, or maybe they're at least aware of the problem that they're trying to solve. And this VSL should essentially address who they are and why they should trust you, why they would want to work with you, and then what steps to go ahead and take from there. So before we get in, I'm going to first cover really quick, hey, you could record this in 3 different ways. You could do a talking head where you're just talking straight to camera. You don't have to have an actual visual presentation if you wouldn't like. Secondly, if you'd prefer to hide your face, you could do that as well. You could just do a screen share presentation going over. Typically, people would document these in like a slide deck or like a slide share, PowerPoint sort of a presentation. And then thirdly, you could do, and this is my personal favorite, as long as you're comfortable being on camera, highly encourage doing a screen share plus talking head. So that would be, most commonly people use like Loom. That's like a free screen recording software. You could do that as well. Essentially, it is where you're showing your screen as well as people can see your face. The reason why I like this for transparency is because people can actually see you as they are seeing what you're talking about. And so the reason why that is helpful is because it keeps their attention better. People's attention span is absolutely treacherous nowadays, and you have to do what you can to keep them visually engaged with your presentation, or they're going to continue scrolling or get off your page. So that's why I like this. Also, it just provides more trust because they could actually see that there's a face behind the brand. Okay, and then real quick disclaimer. Look, there are plenty of good VSL frameworks out there. There are plenty of others that work as well. The one I'm going to go over today is just one that's worked really, really well for us as well as our clients. And it would be helpful for you to know who we are and who our clients are, or what this common denominator is. This specific VSL framework, I'm about to go over this entire thing with you. This is specifically for people who are, I would say, if you're selling to like a more affluent customer, if you sell to people that are maybe making 6 or even 7 figures, maybe you're selling B2B services, you're trying to attract like other 7-figure businesses, maybe you're an agency and you sell marketing services, maybe you're a consultant and you're trying to sell consulting services. Like if you're in the professional service space, this is incredible. Reason being, it's very short, brief, and to the point. It gets rid of all the fluff entirely and just gets straight into, hey, here's who we are. Here's why you could give us like a grain or two of salt of your trust. Here's exactly how we can help you, and here's what it looks like to work with us in the eyes of a client. And there's a couple other like little things in there, but it's just straightforward and to the point. And so if you're selling a multi-$1,000 service over the phone, most of our clients are selling 5 and even 6-figure contracts, depending on the service or niche that they're in. If you're doing that, the average person that's making less than 6 figures, they're going to typically hold on to their money quite a bit tighter, and they need to be nurtured a little bit longer at the end of the day. And so anyway, that's just why this works really, really well for those more affluent types of prospects that you might be trying to attract. All right, without further ado, let's dive in. So VSL framework, it starts off with a high-level description of your offer. So for example, let's say that you are, I don't know, I'm just going to come up with a random business consulting offer. So let's say that you sell business consulting. The high-level description of your offer would be like, here's the title slide. The title slide would be like the name of your actual consulting. And then it would be like bullet point, bullet point, bullet point of here's exactly how we can help you through our business consulting. Like here's what you get in kind of like a high level. You don't want to focus too much on the features or the line items that you serve them with, but more so the benefits in which you serve them. So for example, if your business consulting is helping them better manage their employees, it would be saying something along the lines of like manage your employees with way less time, onboard more of the right people from the start, so that way you can mitigate, mitigate the amount of fires that you're going to have to make later on, attract top A-level talent in less time than ever before, like kind of like benefits, if that makes sense. Okay. And then from there, you're immediately going to get into just a one slider on who you are and why you're qualified to help them. And then you could even say it like I always like to address the elephant in the room. I'm like, hey, quite literally elephant in the room here. You probably just found my ad maybe 5 minutes ago, if that. And so you have no idea who I am. Why should you trust what I'm about to show you? And here's exactly why you can do that. Or here's a little bit about who I am to show you that I'm a real person. I'll usually say like, hey, here's who I am, like personally, like here's my name. Feel free to look me up on Facebook or Instagram. I'm I'm a totally legit person. Here's a little bit about who we help. Here's how long I've been in the industry, and then maybe you have a couple pictures of you speaking on stage or something, maybe speaking to clients, and then right after that, you're going to go over the main pain point that your service actually solves. So you could literally say something along the lines of the main thing that we help, or the main problem that we help, insert audience. So like, let's say that you work with business owners. It's like the main problem that we help business owners solve is blank, insert the blank. And then from there, you'd say the reason for, essentially you address the reason that's keeping your prospect from achieving the desired result. So this would be another slide, and this would be like, look, it is well understood that you want X, Y, and Z. Everyone wants to scale their business. However, and then here's the main problem. And so I like to think of it visually as like, if they're on point A and they're trying to get to point B, what's that bridge in the middle? And there might be multiple different solutions that can get them from A to B, and maybe they've tried a bunch of those solutions already. And so you can kind of poke holes at the reason which their past solutions or their past attempts have not actually gotten them to point B. So once again, if you're trying to address a business owner, maybe they're doing 7 figures and they are trying to attract better talent. You could say, look, it is well understood that you need a team of A players in order to truly scale your 7-figure business to 8 figures. However, the problem that most 7-figure businesses incur is that you insert a reason that's keeping them from achieving it. So like, however, the main problem that's keeping 7-figure businesses from being able to attract A-level talent is due to, I don't know, it could either be way too expensive, or because they are relying on Indeed, and Indeed typically just gives you bottom level talent or whatever. Like, you would just find one thing that maybe they've already tried and why that typically does not work. And then you go straight into the benefits of your service. So the benefits should be kind of the opposite of the pain points of what maybe they're already used to. So for example, if you're trying to sell that business consulting, or like more so like HR, like maybe you're trying to help them hire people, it's like, hey, look, the benefits of our specific service, or here's a couple of the benefits that we've found that our service provides. Number 1, it attracts A-level talent. Number 2, it does so in less time than most businesses ever thought possible. Number 3, it's more cost efficient. Like, you're just going over a couple benefits of your specific service. And then you explain why your service actually helps them compared to other options on the market. So maybe you've already pointed holes at some other method, but maybe there's someone else that does a similar service to you, okay? Believe it or not, there are plenty of other people that do offer almost the exact same thing that you offer to some degree, even if you're selling a mastermind. Like, there are plenty of other masterminds out there, but what makes yours unique, or what makes your service specifically unique? So anyway, this is your time to actually educate them on, like, look, here's a couple benefits, and it's like, the reason why we found this work so well is blah, 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 blah. And so you would teach just real quick, essentially, like, what makes this so unique and what makes it so, I would say, powerful, if that makes sense. And then you'd go straight into explaining the client journey of working with you. So you literally want the person viewing this video to be able to envision themselves being a client of yours from the moment they pay you. So essentially, right after they book this sales call that you're trying to pitch them on, right when they enroll, what's happening and how are you helping them achieve that result? So you'd say, look, here's how our service works. Step 1, we're going to help you with A, B, and C. Step 2, we're going to help you with X, Y, and Z. In step 3, we're going to, tie it up with a pretty bow and give it to you on a silver platter. And so, for example, like I keep mentioning the business consulting. This is, once again, just a totally top of mind example. You could say, like, look, step 1, in onboarding, we're going to go through essentially a foundational level to make sure that you have all of the right systems set up so that no matter what position you try to hire for, you'll always have, I don't know, like an efficient way of being able to come up with the right job description that attracts top level talent. Step 2, and then obviously you'd have a couple bullet points of this. And then step 2, you might say, cool, after we have that foundation, step 2, we actually help you launch it to go attract the right talent. And so what that's going to look like is boom, boom, boom. And it's going to be like, bring it like essentially expect to receive 30 to 50 applications, and then we'll help you review all the applications with you in a completely different framework than you've ever reviewed applications before. That completely saves all of your time and immediately mitigates going through low-level talent or whatever. And then step 3 would be like, we show you how to properly hire, onboard, and set up pay structure for this top-level talent or whatever. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. These should be different slides. So step 1 would be a slide, and then ideally, I have weave in some testimonials or case studies through those steps. So step 1 would be a slide, and then before you get into step 2, ideally you'd have like testimonial of step 1. So once again, maybe that's like your foundations or like the onboarding, and it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, this, and this in the first step. Cool. Hopefully you have a testimonial or a case study that can actually talk about how great that specific part of your service was. And then you'd have another, once again, you'd have step 2, and then you'd have a testimonial or a case study of step 2, and then step 3, same thing, testimonial of step 3. And then ideally, I try to keep it between 3 steps. I've seen people try to really draw this out, make it 8 or 9 steps, and that becomes very complex. People get very overwhelmed, and it's no longer easy to digest. They are no longer interested. You will lose their attention. So I try to kind of lump some of your service into a few different steps, if that makes sense. And then after that, you go over a quick 1-pager recap just to remind them of everything they're getting. So, hey, look, as a recap, like you literally would say probably on the first line of the slide, like, as a recap, you'll get step 1, 2, 3. And so you just kind of have the high level step 1 listed, step 2 listed, and step 3. And then ideally, you have like some sort of a bonus or a plus or a guarantee. The difference between plus and guarantee, plus I should probably have that in quotes. So you could say like, plus we'll also do X, Y, and Z. And that might be actually like a step 4 that you would normally do anyway, and maybe it just didn't make sense to break your service down into 3 steps. Maybe it was easier to break it down into 4. So cool, then you'd have your 3 steps, and then you'd have your 4th step actually listed as a bonus of like, plus will also help you with X, Y, and Z. Or you could say like, as a bonus, if you sign up today or if you book your call today, we'll also throw in this. Or maybe you do have some sort of a guarantee to work with you, a contractual guarantee. That's where you would mention that there. And then you transition to your first call to action. This would look like saying something such as, so if you want us to help you with A, B, and C, if you want to, essentially, if you want us to help you with achieving this specific result, then go ahead and click below and book a call with us today. And then if you have a legit way of doing this, I would always encourage adding like a slide for urgency or scarcity. So for example, maybe you are, that business consulting offer, maybe you guys can't actually bring on a ton of clients every single month. Maybe you're like legitimately limited to taking on 2 or 3 clients every single month. You could say, hey, and just to be honest with you, our team being kind of the white glove nature of this service, we are only able to onboard 3 clients every single month. And so depending on when you're watching this video, that means that we could potentially onboard you this month, or we might already have a wait list. So the earlier you book your call, the earlier we'll be able to enroll you and actually get you these results that you're looking for, depending on what our wait list might look like. Or you might say something along the lines of, maybe you really can technically scale entirely. Maybe you have no limit on your fulfillment, which I've really never seen any any service ever be able to do that unless it's like a software. But typically people have limits on fulfillment, but maybe you don't. And so then you could say like, maybe like a deadline or urgency in the user's or like the viewer's mind. So maybe it's something like, hey, look, and like, I don't know, like obviously with the consulting thing, like I just mentioned, you could say, the earlier that you actually get started with this, the earlier we're actually able to get you that top level talent. And as you know, the quicker you can have a top level talent take over your marketing or take over your finances or take over your operations, the quicker you're going to be able to, and then I'd say be able to enjoy that time off with your family and knowing the business is well taken care of. Like you'd want to get into some sort of a benefit there. So anyway, like you could kind of put that urgency in like an evergreen play of like, look, it doesn't matter at what point you enroll. However, the longer you wait, the longer it is that you'll be able to actually get that specific result that you're looking for. And then you would give them one final call to action. And so you'd say something like, so once again, if you're remotely interested in this offer, or if you're remotely interested in speaking with someone on our team to see if this might make sense for you, go ahead and book a call below today. And that's it. So once again, I guess this is just general framework that's working really, really well for us. I do hope that you put this to use. If you have any questions, either before you put it to use or just in questions in general, comments in general, please let me know below. I try to respond to any and all comments, and it would honestly really help the channel out as well. I want to provide as much value to you guys as possible. So once again, feel free, go ahead and leave a comment. Would love to know either what your biggest takeaway is, or if you have a question in regards to this framework, if it would work for you, whatever. Just once again, leave a comment below, or honestly, it would mean the world to me if you could also like this video or subscribe to the channel. That would help so much. And if you ever want any sort of help deploying a call booking funnel like this for your business, being able to bring in more qualified sales calls, feel free to check the link in the description, and my team and I would be more than happy to assist you with that. All right, once again, I hope you found this video helpful. Would love if you would either like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. It would help me out so much. Would mean the world to me, and also would be more than happy to continue offering more videos like this. Just go ahead and leave a comment below if you have a specific video request. Would love to be able to serve you guys in the best way possible. All right, till next time, I will see you later.